Welcome to New and In Between, hosted by me, Mia Quinn Maddox, where I'll be discussing the hows and whys to my journey towards my faith. I've learned through my highs and lows that this path is not mine to travel alone. Join me mid journey as I embrace my wins, losses, and everything in between. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to New and In Between. I am your host, Mia Quinn Maddox. And today I have the honor of having someone, of course, I'm always excited. Everyone is always my favorite friend and my bestest, but I'm very excited to have the person I have today, Melvin Taylor.
Hello, hello.
Hi,
How you
Melvin.
doing?
What's going on?
Man, not much. Just happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Just glad to be sharing the space with you, and happy almost 1 year
I
for your show.
know I'm so excited about that. So
Yeah.
I'm coming towards the end of season 3 in
Mm-hmm.
a year.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know how difficult a year on a show is, especially when it's your own and you really
Yo,
push into.
and I didn't know. Not that no, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I never did a podcast before, so no, that was
Mm-hmm.
totally new. So I'm like, oh my god, it's almost a year. Like I didn't even
Flies
really
by.
think about it. I'm like, oh shoot, it does not fly by because when you really sit down and think about it, I'm like,
Well, that's
damn, I
fair.
went through a whole process.
To get here, yeah,
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 like
yeah.
a long process and a lot of money. Thank God I got a job.
Yeah.
Whenever I think about complaining about my job, I promise you, I bite my tongue real quick because my job pays for this. I am self funded.
There
I
you
have
go.
not started no GoFundMe's, no donations, no nothing yet because I'm just hoping for sponsorships and everything else. But I also wanted to stay consistent
Hmm.
for myself before I started asking people to pour into me with money.
That's completely
Time
fair.
is unreplaceable, um, but the money is different.
I agree.
So
I know that for sure.
yeah. All right. So we will sit here and chat, and I just want to make sure everyone knows. So Melvin, share with the world how we know each other.
We know each other from my first official union job in the industry, or I guess as the Directors Guild would say, when my days started to actually count
Hmm.
on Harlem season 1 on Amazon Prime.
There we go.
Yeah,
Shout out to everyone that was on Harlem. That
most
was a
definitely.
that was a very interesting time, and we started right before the pandemic. Was you there? Oh
I
no,
was
you
not.
came.
I
You
was not.
came
Yeah,
after the
I came
pandemic
after.
because we had started that. We started season 1 pre-pandemic, and then we got shut down. So
Hmm.
you came back after pandemic.
Yeah, I was part of the crew that came back
Yeah.
after because I met some people that were on it beforehand. They were always like, "You was on my show. You took my job." I was like, "Ah, but you had another job, so it's all good.
What
It
people
was
said
enough."
that to you?
Just yeah, yeah. No, nobody.
Oh, I
They just
mean, I mean
they
that's just
joking.
a bold.
They
It
joking.
doesn't matter. The seriousness of every joke and like, wow, like didn't take his. He didn't take your job. You. We know when we don't get invited back, why we don't get invited back, but we're not gonna go there. So go ahead.
Um, yeah, we met on Harlem. It was at least for me, it was an amazing experience. With that being like my first union job where I was a part of the set at, like as an actual set PA. The job prior, I was COVID PA on City on a Hill, so that was really like a crash course in being like, oh, this is how everything really works. And then when I got to Harlem, it was learning like the true process behind it all, and then just really being on set every day and seeing all the work that went into it. I absolutely loved it, and I was so thankful to be around so many black people at that point in time
Mm-hmm.
because going on City on the Hill, there were a couple of black people here and there. Shout out to Stephanie Fox, and definitely shout out to Aldous Hodge at the time, as
I
well as
work with
shout
his
out to
I
Art.
work
Yep,
with his
you work with
brother
his
now.
brother.
Yeah,
Yep,
his
yep.
brother Edwin, who's so dope.
Yeah, they both of them are super cool. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Edwin just yet, but I remember meeting Aldous and being like, bro, I grew up on the UPN WB wave, and then there was nothing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in my granny's house when she didn't have cable in the kitchen, so I'm like flipping the antennas, watching through shows, and I see Leverage come on. And for like years, he was the only black dude I saw on TV.
Wow.
So then to see him and work with him in real life was like crazy to me.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. I
Yeah.
mean, I do one of the you know points of me working in film. I had my dream list of people that I was like, oh God, I want to work with this person.
Yeah.
I want to work with that person. So it's like to work with someone that you watched. That's how I felt with Regina King.
Okay.
When I worked with
Okay.
Regina King, I was like, oh my God, I watched 1227. I'm like, oh my God, Regina
Yeah.
King. I fangirled for a minute and then she was so dope. She was more than what I ever
Would have
could
expected.
imagine her
Yeah.
to be. She was so cool, like super cool. So it's like it's good to work with actors that you've watched growing up and then they still be like amazing people.
Yeah, yeah. That's the best part is that
Yeah.
they're amazing people. Because I'm sure we've all come across somebody who was like, ah, don't meet your heroes. But it was really cool to be able to share that space with him and be like, so laid back, so cool, answer any questions. And I was
Mhm.
like, yo, like this is like y'all do this every day, like at work. Like this is really cool. So yeah,
Cool. So what's your background?
man. My background. Born in Xenia, Ohio. My parents met at Central State University,
Mhm.
HBCU in Ohio, and lived in Cincinnati for a little bit before I moved to Chicago, which is where I'm really from, with my mom's side of the family and my dad, and just kind of grew up as mostly the older kid, only kid, except for when I would go to my dad's side of the family. Like Thanksgiving would be crazy because my dad is one of 11, and my grandmother
Damn.
was one of 22.
What? Wait,
So
22? She has
2022.
21 siblings?
Yes. Now, not all of them made it, but
It don't matter.
there's
That's a
still
lot.
a good amount that I don't even know, and there's some people that reach out to me, and I have to follow my other cousins to be like, "Yo, how are we related to them?" But when I would go to that side of the family, I would be like the youngest, so
Mhm.
it'd be cool to kind of have the dichotomy of both of those. But grew up in Chicago, loved it there. It was tough at sometimes. It was definitely like, oh, I'm in like a big city now,
Mhm.
and going to school in like a little bit of the inner city, not too deep. My parents knew all the politics that was at play, so they wanted to make sure I still got a good education, and did everything I was supposed to do. At the time, I was super into like reading books and science and all of that,
Mhm.
and then got thrown into sports after that, and it was just like a complete 180, just trying to learn everything from there. But absolutely loved growing up in Chicago. Still my favorite city in the world. Always loved going back there to see my family. And there's just a great separation of like I can have this city, but then also get outside of that and just kind of like enjoy some peace, some quiet. Trying to pull my parents to be like, hey, whenever I move somewhere else that's not New York, do y'all want to go? And they like, this is all we know. We don't want to leave. Um, but yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
dope. That's dope. That's dope.
yeah. Yeah.
That's dope. So, did you do production prior to you doing like working on City on the Hill?
Not in the way in which we all think about production. Like technically, yes. I produced on a live streaming network called Bold Global Media for a stretch of time, like a little bit less than a year.
Mhm.
I produced for CBS's Play. It when they had their own podcasting network for some point in time. When I was still working in advertising, on the weekends I would go to Manhattan Neighborhood Network and take all of their public access training classes so I can use their
Mm.
equipment to be able to shoot sketches or shoot my own radio show at the time that I was
Mhm.
doing up at WHCR, the CCNY. I also took classes when I was in Chicago at the Illinois Media School, and I would work in advertising in the day, then at night go take those classes. Took those classes for almost a year before I moved out to Chicago, and I think that would truly be the beginning, I could say, when I really got into it. Before then, it was a lot of hopping around and just thinking like maybe this is something that I want to do, because I wanted to be a sports reporter for a
Mhm.
long time. I saw Stuart Scott was like the consistent guy every day on my
Really?
TV, so I was like, let me go do that. And as I just got older, I was like, I don't think I want to be 35, 36 reporting on a 22-year-old that's like, my knee hurts. I don't want to play today. I was like, I need to find something else to do.
Mhm. And then what was the something else? You just
It's actually started like the entire production thing really kicked off when I went to go see. I don't call movies bad,
Mhm.
but I went to go see a bad movie,
Mhm.
and I was so mad that I remembered a friend of mine told me, "Hey, they're doing auditions for a school play. You should audition for it." And I was so tight after that movie that I like drove around campus and went to the theater and auditioned. Thought nothing of it after I auditioned. I was like, I'm glad I got that out. Cool, whatever. Next day, as me and some of my friends are going to the calf, the same person that told me about the play ran up to me. He's like, "Yo, did you see the list?" And I was like, "No, like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Yo, you got one of the lead roles." I was like, "Bro, get out my face. Like, I'm not. I'm going to eat. Like, I'm hungry." So me and my friends walking to the calf. He's still trying to tell me like this is going on. I'm like, yeah, whatever. As soon as I swipe my card and I walk in, like all the theater kids sat in one section.
Mhm.
When I tell you, they all stopped eating, looked, and stared at me, and I was like, "Oh, like this is
It
real.
got real.
Oh, okay,
You
like
took
cool."
someone's job.
Basically, basically. So I from there started acting in school plays,
Mhm.
and it was a cool production to be a part of. It was my first time really like being in a true theater environment like that. And we did the play. Play was fantastic. Everybody that was in the play except for me was studying theater in some way, shape, or form. It was
Mhm.
either their major or their minor. And for me, I was an elementary education major. I was going, teach third grade for a little bit, and my minor was in journalism because I still had the sports journalism thing going on.
Mhm.
And I remember on our last day of our play, we had a talk back, and one of the people in the audience, he was a freshman at the time. I don't know whether he just wanted to like grease me up so we can hang out some more, or if he was being honest. But he asked me flat out in front of everybody. He was like, "Hey, have you ever thought of like acting professionally?" And
Mhm.
that was the first time that ever really crossed my mind. And I was
Really?
like,
Even though you acted in all those theater, it was just like
that,
you're in college. This is
that
what I'm
was
doing while I'm in college. You never thought about it like as a career.
no, because at the time, like I had stopped playing basketball. I had stopped running track. I was like, I'm not going to the Olympics. I'm not about to be Kobe. My brother and my cousins got all the sports stuff on lock. So let me just figure out what my thing is going to be. And I looked at it as like an outlet,
Mhm.
but I didn't really see like, okay, there's a future for me there. Going back to what we were talking about earlier. For a stretch of time, I only saw one black dude that was like consistently on TV. So I was like, I don't really know if there's a future for me there. And after he asked me that question, that kind of started getting the wheels going of like, okay, maybe there is a way that I can see. Like, I'll do some more plays, and when I'm out of school, I'll figure something out. But maybe there is a way for me to be able to do it. And I'm so glad that when I saw that bad movie, I auditioned and he asked me that question because it led to all of this that we got going on today.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. We don't seed a little. It only takes a little seed for someone to plant in a question or a
Mhm.
thought or pushing you to do something, and then look where you are now. So, from your question of do you want to be a professional actor, you've done some professional acting, so
I
you are
have.
an actor.
I have.
You
Mhm.
have moved into acting, so not do you want to be an actor? You are an officially
I
an
am.
actor.
Yeah.
Please let us know some of the things that you've been in because it's super dope to see someone dream like I want to be an actor and then be an actor.
Thank you. Thank you. I would say a couple of things I've been in. One of the biggest things was probably Manifest. I worked on that show for some time, and then to be able to be not only a part of the show, but at currently right now part of also the team that they're pitching for if they do get a spinoff. They were like,
Ooh,
your character, it would make sense for your character to be there. So I'm like, oh, that would be like really cool, guys. So let's see what
that would
happens
be
with that.
so dope. That would be
So
so dope. Please let us know what episode, what season, because I need people to go
fair
look at
enough.
that.
Fair enough. It is like the very last episode, the last few minutes, so much so that they tested it, took it out of the episode and put it on the Netflix website
Hmm.
because they wanted to test and see how many people will go check it to kind of temperature
All
gauge
right, so
if
you'll send me that link because
I'll
we
send you
need to
that
make
link.
sure the more people that like, the more people that watch.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this works. Like now, streaming. It's like before it used to be listening. Like how many what was it with music?
Yeah.
Streaming or whatever that was. But now it's like this could make or break a show. It could make or break an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
put that link. The link will be in the credits, and I want you guys to go check it out. Like this is how we push people.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I appreciate it a lot.
All right, so
So
manifest.
Manifest was probably the biggest one so far. The first film that I worked on in production was called On Our Way, written, directed, and starred by a young woman named Sophie Lane Curtis. It's an indie film. It also had Keith Powers in that film. It was really cool to hang out with him and just kind of see like what it was like uh, for his level of stardom to be like, bro, like this is insane.
Hmm.
Like we trying to get him off a set, and I'm pulling around, getting the van, having the door open so he could jump in, and we drive off where everybody realized he's there. I had a cameo in that, which was really awesome. Done a bunch of commercials. Did a commercial for a Hulu film called Anthem. Most recently, just did a Harry's Razor commercial that still pops up on like Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, which a lot of people still
Oh, I don't
hit me
even.
up about.
I gotta check. I mean, I'm not really a football person, but now I have a reason.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that it was like they didn't tell us when it was airing. It was just a matter of my friends were watching ESPN and being like, "Yo, are you in a shaving commercial?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
that's
that is me."
dope. That's dope.
So it
That's
was
dope.
that was awesome. Then my granddad calls my mom like every time he sees it, so he sees it like twice a day.
Oh, that's so
So
dope.
that was really cool because it
Mhm.
was a goal of mine when I got into this to be like, I want to do something where they can see me
Mhm.
doing it while they're still here. So it was still it's really cool that he was able to do that. In a short film called The Fruited Bears, which is on BET Plus, which was awesome because that was my first leading role in a film.
Mhm.
So thankful for the Browns for giving me that opportunity to be able to do it. We won a couple of awards during festival season off of that as well, and to be able to have it premiere on BET, like my family and friends threw a big get together for me because I couldn't be at the one that they was having here.
Mhm.
So when I went back home, one of my cousins just kind of like opened her house and was like, "Hey, whoever want to come over,
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna watch
dope.
Melvin's film." And she had moved to a new house, so I didn't know where she was. So
Mhm.
as I'm driving around looking, she's got my headshot like blown up on her door
On the
with
door.
like
Oh, that's
come
so
come here to watch the Fruit
cool.
Bears, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is
That's
oh
so
boy.
cool.
So and then I walked in and she took different stills from the film and had them like placed up all over the house. So it was really
How did that make
awesome
you
to be able.
feel?
It felt awesome because it was like to be able to get to a point of not just me believing in myself but also seeing my community, my family really believe in me and what I'm pursuing. It's just a such a gratifying feeling, especially you go after something for so long and you hear so many no's and still go at it. So to have them give me that energy back felt amazing.
That's dope. So
Yeah.
I know. I mean, that's a lot, and that's a lot just from we did Harlem season 1.
Correct.
When
2021.
so this is all in that in this. A lot of that is in this.
Mm-hmm.
Today is it's 2024. We're in
2024.
November,
Yep, November 2024.
and
So
that like in the last 3 years, you've just been going, 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 going,
just been
going, going.
going at it, just taking the axe to the tree and just trying to do as much as I
That's dope.
can.
That's dope. So we all went through a strike. I talk about it all the time because a lot of us birthed new things from the strike. The strike was it was a bad thing and it was a good thing
Yeah,
because it gave me for me it gave me a reality check that things change and change quickly.
for sure.
Um, and if you don't know how to pivot and change with what's going on, especially in film and television, just entertainment,
Yeah, you get
and I
lost.
know this from music. Like I went through this when we went from CDs to streaming. Like so, the
Yeah,
pivot, I knew I felt it. So it's like for me, I'm like, okay, you got to start doing something different. And this time, which can you could sit here and sulk, or you could dig in your treasure chest and figure out what things you've collected over the time
correct.
and let it put you in a new space. And that's how my podcast was birthed. So what did you birth from the strike?
From the strike, I birthed a short film
Mm-hmm.
called Baldy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a film that I wrote during lockdown quarantine. It was actually the second short film that I wrote. At the time, I didn't really write anything. The most I was writing was sketches because I did sketch and improv at UCB and at the Magnet Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine was
Wait,
saying,
I just want you to stop for 1 second. You a lot of people don't have these deep conversations with their friends to know how much they've done, and like we spent hours and hours on shows. And I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time because
"Mhm,
we haven't, we did Harlem, and then I went to FBI, and I've been on FBI for this for a duration of time. But
yeah,
just in that small, I'm like, damn, Melvin, you've been working.
I've done a lot. I've
You've
done a
been
lot."
working.
Yeah,
You've been working. I just wanted to say that because you don't, just in us, we go, 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 and I mean, like you're where you are now is not far from where my stage is, so we do bump into each other occasionally. But you have a quick 20-minute conversation because you're on lunch or I'm in the middle of,
yeah,
so you don't really get to see. I'm like, damn, you've done a lot in the last 3 years, so
I've
congrats
done a
on
lot.
that.
Thank you
All
very
right, so
much.
go ahead,
Thank you very
finish.
much. And even I'll add to that, when I was also PAing on City on a Hill, I was also writing for a website called heavy.com where I was writing like 5 to 6 news articles a day as well. So I was like doing almost 2 jobs at once on top of when I would get home, I would still do some auditions or when I had my YouTube show, my radio show going, Um, I would also do videos for that. So I was like literally exhausting myself as much as I could to be like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna get every single creative pursuit out. But going back to Baldy, um, a friend of mine told me that Amazon's looking for some writers. If you could write something, I can send it to him. I was like, great. I don't have anything written. She was like, I don't care. Like, just write anything.
Mhm.
So I took that first weekend of lockdown and just pulled up a YouTube video. How can I write a short film? And just that whole weekend, just wrote it. Liked the film that I had, sent it off to her. But then I was like, okay, I know that they always say to write something that's a little more personal to you because it's going to mean that much more. So, what's something that I could write about? And I was just coming out of the time where I was being super self conscious and living self consciously about my hair.
Mhm.
And I figured, you know what? Even if it doesn't appeal to anybody, it appeals to me. So I'm just gonna write it and see what happens. So I wrote a short film about what it's like as a guy going through your 20s, coming into your 30s. You know, really figuring out who you are, but also losing your hair because that's how you show up in the world. That's how you see yourself every single day. And to look at yourself in the mirror, not recognize who you are is like kind of crushing.
Mhm.
And to have to, you're going to work hiding as much as you can or trying to wear hats in places you're not supposed to wear hats. Like I was wearing Scullies in the middle of the summer because I was like, I do not want nobody to see how bad my hairline is.
Mhm.
So it was really therapeutic to
Mhm.
get it out. And over the years since lockdown, I was just refining. And I remember right before the strike started, I told one of my coworkers, excuse me, I told one of my coworkers who ended up being my scriptie on the film, I was like, look, I'm not going into 2024 not being a filmmaker.
Mhm.
Like I have to do it. Like it is like really pushing on me. And I'm also got tired of having conversations with people and they would ask, hey, what are you working on? I'm like, oh, I got this thing that I want to do. And I didn't have anything to show. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this whole spring, summer, fall, winter, and just grind it out and see what I can do. And I took almost the entire strike and just rewrote, got notes from a lot of people, and as I was getting notes back from them, I would then build out, okay, if I'm going to crowdfund, what is my why am I doing this, what is the story behind it, what meaning does this have, why do people want to see this story, let me get all the marketing together, what is my team going to look like, building all that out so that once I started presenting it to people to ask for their help, it wasn't so much you're helping me start from scratch, but I already had some things that we could put together
Mhm.
to kind of
It
work
makes
on
it
it.
be. It's like it's that. Oh, he's serious. Like I don't mind giving him my time, or what, doing this position or whatever the case may be, because you put a lot of work into it. When you give someone like your deck or your Bible, and you're like, oh wow, he really did his thing, then it
Mm-hmm.
makes you be like, all right, I got you, whatever you want to do. So when
Mm-hmm.
people, it's like I say to people all the time, ask for help, but when you ask for help, be serious about it. And if for people who are helping, give your time frame of how much help you're going to give
Yeah,
or what you're going to give, or like we got to set hard boundaries when we do ask for help and when we do give help, because for me, I find that people have an expectation, you have an expectation, and when they're not met, then friendships are ruined,
I agree. Yeah.
and people are offended. So my advice to people who are just pursuing their dreams of things that they don't have the funds for, and they're going to ask people to help them, to make sure that you're clear with what you want from someone or what you need from someone. Like, I need
Mm-hmm.
you for 2 weeks, or can you do this one thing, or be very clear. And people who are helping, if you can't say no, I prefer you
Yeah.
to tell me
Yeah.
no than to give me the runaround or to give me your help and give me half-assed.
I agree. I agree because it's not going. If anything, I'm gonna just look at you differently to be like, if you knew that you were too busy to do this, we
Yeah.
could have just avoided this whole situation. And that's funny enough something that I did run into in post production.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Like, I see what's going on. We just gonna cut the cord, and it's okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know that you busy. You got a lot happening right now. That's fine. Let me go figure this out over here. No love lost, but if this is all that you had to deal with, just let me know that ahead of time, and then
Yeah.
we all good. But yeah, put all that stuff together for Baldy, and I really didn't want to crowdfund. I wanted to use all my savings, and I'm so glad that I didn't because I lived
Because
out of all my savings during the strike.
during the strike.
Because everybody was like, "No, it's gonna be over soon," and I kept getting like, "No, man, all these meals looking lighter and lighter over here. Oh,
Listen,
this
listen.
soon is
Oh,
lasting
it's
a
gonna
long
be 30
time."
days. Oh, it's gonna 90 days. Oh, I stopped counting. After a while, I was just like, when they call me back, they're gonna call me back.
Pretty much, I was
And
like,
I was like,
"I'm."
let me find something else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the time. If you don't utilize the time that you have, then, like, you're gonna sit and soak and wait
You will. You
and a
will.
lot of people did. I mean, a lot of people are still not working. The strike has been long over, but the residual effects of what happened during the strike and the payouts have affected the
So much.
frontline. Like, we're
Yeah.
frontline workers. We're the ones who are on set. We are in the rain. We are in the snow. We are,
Mm-hmm.
we're in by the camera. Those We don't talk about how much that it's really affected our industry and people not working, but also too, it's like we all have, look at all the things that you've learned and picked up and skills. And I mean, that's not for everybody. Some people are just, this is their dream and they got to it and this is what they're going to do
Yep.
for
And they're like,
forever.
"I'm
But
fine with that." Yeah.
that's fine. But there's so many other people who have, I haven't met one person who comes to set and like, nah, this is all I want to do. I've never met one
I
of those
agree.
people. So,
I agree.
I mean, shout out to those people. But everyone that I've ever met on set is either a writer or an actor or a something, or they
Mm-hmm.
cook. I mean, we all have these amazing, this is why I was telling everyone, digging your treasure chest. We have so many amazing things that we've picked up and that we can do, or that maybe you're just not focusing on. And look what came from you. I thought that was such an amazing idea when we spoke about it, just talking about balding, because
Yeah.
we don't think about it. Like,
You
we
don't.
we don't think about it. Like, we don't think about it in your perspective, because we think, I mean, you're tall, you're a black man, so tall, dark, and bald. That's what we think.
You know.
But you're not thinking about the aspect of, like, and I'm more so, it touches me a little bit more, because as I'm getting older, my hair is changing, and my, like, things, I'm like, oh my God, what is going on with this hair?
Yeah.
And you don't realize how much it affects your self-confidence, how
Man.
much it affects
That's
your, I mean, it affects everything, because it's the frame of your face.
yeah.
And when it changes in such a dramatic way, we don't think about it. We don't think about it when we're talking about someone, you see the Instagram post with the women with their hair,
Mm-hmm.
and then they cut it and then it's a new thing. Or,
Mm-hmm.
now men are getting lace
Getting the whole
fronts, the
units
whole
and whatnot.
units, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
think that it's crazy, but it really does affect your self-esteem. Because even for myself, when I started seeing my hairline change and the front of my hair changing as I'm getting older, I'm like, oh my God, this is ugly.
Now imagine that's what you were going through at that point. That started for me when I was 19. So I'm still like in college,
Mm.
living like, you know, how everybody's living in college. And I'm like, is it my hats? Like, am I too stressed out? Like, what's trying to figure out what's going on? And that went on for like all the way until I was maybe 27 or so is when I finally like went to my dad and was like, all right, like,
Wait, it took you that long to go to
bruh,
your dad?
it took
Oh,
me that long.
is your dad and your granddad, do they all have their hair, or they're bald too?
My granddad's is very, very short. He still has hair. My
Hmm.
father has dreads,
Full heads of hair.
full heads of hair.
Mm.
So I was just like, nah, y'all hate me. Like y'all really hate me. But yeah, it took me a long time. It took me a long time mostly because like you were just saying, that adjustment once you like, oh, this is like what's happening to me, you do everything to fight it. Like I was trying different shampoos, hair growth
Oils.
serum. I did Rogaine for a little bit. Fun fact, that actually made it worse because once you start it, you can't stop it. And the specific kind that was sent to me, they discontinued that version. So I
Mm.
was like, oh, it's cool. I'll just get some more when I go to the store. Like 2 weeks later, it regressed so much worse that I was like, oh, this is like
Really?
bad. Yeah. So out with my friends, we going to a club or a party. They're like, hey man, you can't wear no hats in here. Hey, y'all, I'll see y'all later. Like
Or you would leave? You're
I'm
like, I'm
not
not
going,
taking my hat
I'm
off.
not going in.
So at what point did you just completely go bald? Or once you saw it receding and
Mhm.
changing, did you just go bald, and now it's just like, let me see how I'm gonna deal with having a bald head now?
I still fought it, hid it for as much as I could a lot of years, unless I was like at work and I was like, man, I'm around y'all every day, like whatever, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until I would be on the train going back home, and I would see it happening to other people,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing them either like fighting it or being like self conscious, moving their
Oh,
hat,
because you recognize
or
your own.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, is that what I look like going through it? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is that me? And then just seeing pictures of myself and being like, bruh, it's 80 degrees outside. You got a scully on. Like, what are we doing? Like, we don't have to do this.
Mm.
And yeah, there was also another time that I went to the barber. He used some Beijing, didn't tell me about it. So then the next time I took a shower, all of it starts washing out. I'm like, yo, what is going on with my?
Oh
It was
no.
bad.
So
It
basically
was
like how
bad.
we do, women like I mean, for me throughout the years, I'm a person who changes her hair very often.
Hmm.
So I'm braiding and I'm, getting the blowouts and I'm short or I got a weave and all these things over the time start to, a lot of black women suffer from it's called, oh my God, alopecia,
Oh yeah,
but not
alopecia.
alopecia, it's scarring alopecia. So basically, from the pulling and from all the
Mm,
things, now you form scar tissue and the hair can't grow
can't grow
there.
back. The follicles are
It is
damaged.
it's traumatizing
Yeah.
because you're used to seeing yourself one way.
Hmm.
And I'm saying this for myself because what I do now, I'm like, God, just make me love who what this is now, because this is what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Unless I go to Turkey, and I mean, that's another.
I had somebody on my set that worked a part of our crew
Hmm.
went to Turkey and did it, and
Hmm.
I was like, I we had a private screening for cast and crew,
Hmm.
and I shouted them out and told that story, and he stood up, and I was like, look, your hair look great,
Hmm.
hair look fantastic, and I couldn't do it, but I'm glad he was able to
Listen,
do
to
it.
each his own. I've thought about it. I've thought about it, but I'm just, because it goes from okay, this is changing to sometimes it's drastic
Yeah,
when you look and you're like, oh my God, what
it
is
can get
going
rough. It can
on?
get rough. I had an afro at 19, so imagine like I had the afro and like
Oh,
right
you
here in
started
the
George
front
Jefferson in?
it was like very very thin in the front, and I'm
Oh.
like, well, what is? And this is the only time in my life I was able to grow an afro because my mom would never let me do it.
Mm.
So now I'm like, all right, in college doing what I want to do, and then that happened, and I was just like, what what do I do now? Like, did I do something wrong? Like, am I a bad person? Like, God, what did I do? So
I mean, and this is facts, like the things that run through your mind, and it's why it was very important for me to have you come here and talk about it, because there are more bold men than there's more bold men than you think, and we
yeah.
don't think about the process. A lot of the times, it's not a choice.
Hmm.
Like I don't choose to be bold. It's like I'm bold. Like it's what I had to eventually end up becoming, but there's a process, and it's important for us to know how you feel during that process, just also too so we could be empathetic to other people when we do notice it, or
Yeah.
because how, I mean, just family, oh, I can see the top of your head, or
Bruh, the
you know
amount
we
of
we
jokes.
we got
Oh
everything
man,
to say,
you
milk
better have some thick
dud.
skin,
I
cause
mean, and we don't think about it because also too, you guys don't express because you're going through your own thing. It's something new to you
hmm
to figure out how to feel and oh my gosh, what's going on. But I think now with you speaking about it is going to give people maybe a little bit more of like, all right, let me not joke about this.
I hope so. And I know that there are going to be jokes here and there regardless. Like, it's
Hmm.
just going to happen. But I do hope that in seeing the film, people have at least a little more empathy, not even for people that are just losing their hair, but people in general, because
Hmm.
you never know what people are going through. So that was a thing for me while I was putting it together to say, hey, like, you don't know what that person losing their hair is going through. You don't know how they dealt with it. You don't know the anxiety they get going outside and their hat gets
Hmm.
knocked off, or being inside depressed long periods of time because they haven't been around everybody because they're too in their head about what they
Hmm.
think about it. So yeah.
Yeah, see, and we don't think about that, and we surely don't think about it, and we be quick to give you a joke or
Hmm.
call you an egghead, or you know, um, we just don't. You don't think about the other person's feelings or what they are going through, or just the process
Yeah.
of balding.
Yeah.
So it's dope. I think it's such a. I thought it was such an amazing idea, and it's like using your it's your testimony, and you're using your something that people could look at it as like a terrible thing, and I'm telling you, you're gonna change the perspective of a lot of people because it's something that we don't think about, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of bald men or balding men who are gonna be advocating for you because it's like finally someone is speaking up for us.
Somebody said it.
Yeah, so thank you. I'm sure that I'm saying thank you because also too when when for me, I thought about you. I'm like, oh no, this is this. I'm like, Melvin has to push through, and and you're an actor now. Like, so it's like, you're an actor. You're in front of people. You're doing this. So it's like if he could push through this, it got to be something like it's fine. This is fine. Yeah. Just learn to love who I'm becoming now or how my hair is now. I mean, women have all the options. We could do wigs, and we could. I mean, you guys could do wigs and stuff now. I'm not. I
mean,
still,
we can, but
Melvin,
look a
I
little
am
suspect.
still. I'm not on that boat yet. I'm just not on that boat yet. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, but I'm not.
It's like that joke whenever
I'm just not on that boat yet.
when some guys are like, all right, when you go on a date with a girl, like how some people say, oh, push her in the water, see what she really look like. They put some of these guys and their units float off.
This is what I say. I say you gotta wet the whole man down now. You gotta wet the whole man down. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even want to know. I don't know because what if it's lifting? How do you tell him? How do you tell him?
You gotta.
Hey,
it's funny that
your hair is it's like lifting right there or something. Like, how do you tell somebody that?
You gotta pull them in the corner. They let them know or be talking to them one on one.
Don't let me ever be in that situation.
There was a time where I snuck into a club and I took my hat off. When I got back inside, I put it back on, and I was with some friends and whatnot. And there was this girl. We were like vibing back and forth, like a brief second. This is like within 2 minutes of me knowing her, and she was like, "Why you got that hat on in the club? You losing your hair?" And I was like, "I don't know you well enough for you to ask me that question."
Yo, I'm telling you, and I'm sure she's a black girl.
She was. She is.
Because we will just blurt out some shit and ask, and like, it's like, what? But it also, she's like, what you losing your hair? Like, take your hat off. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, overall, it became fine. But at the time, I was like,
girl,
bro, I don't know you. Like, who are you? Me and her are cool now. But I was like, bro, okay, this conversation is dead. Like, but yeah, it can be very rough. You don't want to be that curt when you're telling somebody.
Yeah.
But you just want to let them know, like, hey, bro, like, you might need to go fix that up.
I don't want to be put in that position ever. So please don't put me in that position, God, because I'm Kurt. I'm the Kurt girl. I'm like, that's what I'm like. I know she was me because that's something that I would have been like, why you got that hat on? You losing your hair or something?
It was just the way she said it and how quickly she said it. I was so caught off guard. I was like, she was like, oh, you are, sweetie. I was like, don't sweetie me now.
Because now it's like, oh, I was just playing, but you really are. Well, listen, I think what you're doing right now is so dope, and it's gonna I think it's gonna change the perspective for a lot of people.
Thank you.
A lot of people. So you got it done.
Got it done. It was we filmed it over 3 days. My DP, my director wanted 4. And I was like, we don't have enough to be able to make that happen, so we can do it over 3. The crowdfunding caught me by surprise, truly, because while I talked to people for like years about what I wanted to do, so that was truly my preparation. Just how quickly people gave and how much they gave really just goes back to showing, like what my cousin did before, how much people believe in me. Because we hit 80% of our budget within like 12 hours of having the
I talk about that all the time, how important donations are, like and how humbling we have to be to ask. People will give you just have to be humble enough to ask. And even myself, I was like, we're in a strike. I don't have much that I could give, but I'm gonna give what I can because I believe in your project, because I'm like, look how much you've done. And also too, I'm sure people were looking at it like, oh, okay, he's serious. Like, when you because you could pinpoint the moment when you spoke about it, like just projects and things that you want to go to, and I've been supporting you just in your journey of even other short films that you've done, just showing up. Like, if someone invites you to their premiere, go. Go. It's important that little bit of support helps to push people through. We
It
don't
really
really
does.
think about it in that way, but that little bit of support, like someone showing up, or you invite someone to something that you're doing, a pop-up shop, you know, you're selling t-shirt, whatever it is, people don't realize how important that support is.
Yeah, it can truly carry you through a lot of good moments, and especially those dark moments where you're unsure of if you're doing the right thing. Because even while I was putting all that together, there was still a part of me that's like, look, I'm pulling out the pictures of where my hairline is messed up. I'm putting my whole life out here. I don't know how much people are going to support. And people around me were like, people support. And I'm like, it's easy, a little bit easier for you to say because you're not putting
Hmm.
all your whole self out there. But when I did, I was so thankful that people believed in me enough to be like, hey, I want to see this through. But more so than that, I also believe in you and what you're going on to do. And from there, I was like, all right, let's get the ball rolling. Let's make it happen. And within, I think it was like within a week of us finishing our crowdfunding is day one when we shot it. And recently we had the cast and crew screening because, as you know,
Hmm.
when we working on these shows, sometimes we're the last ones to see it,
Yeah.
or we don't get invited to the premieres or to the
Yeah,
screenings.
no, we don't. and
So,
and and that's, I don't want to say it's hurtful, but we work really, really hard, like really hard. Like
mm-hmm,
when we work on these shows, we're standing in rain, we're in the elements, we're in the snow, we are
for hours,
fighting people. When we did Harlem, Harlem was an experience because we shot in Harlem, and people in Harlem wasn't really trying to feel us in
yo,
Harlem.
at
Like, you taking
all,
our park and you blocking
at
my
all.
block. I need to get in my house.
Throwing eggs at us while we were
Yo,
filming.
remember
Old girl
that?
was throwing. She went and then went and bought a new carton and
And
came
then
back
came,
and threw some more eggs.
it was, we
Insane.
deal with a lot. I mean, you got the angry mom who's crossing the street with her kids who's
Mm-hmm.
not waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just so many things, so many factors that people don't understand that we deal with. Then you got to deal with the actors. They're not always nice. Sometimes they are, but they're also people.
They
So
also
they
people.
might have a
So
bad day, or,
exactly.
and we're dealing with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with the general public. You're dealing with the actors. We're there at 5 o'clock. If I got to be there at 5 o'clock, you're there at 3 o'clock. We're there
Mm-hmm.
16, 17 hours sometimes. It's a lot of work. So we do it for the love of our careers, and but to get that invite to the premiere or a screening,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the stamp, like a passport stamp, like you did that.
Yeah.
Like, this is the fruits of your labor, of all your hard work. So when you don't get in, like when these productions don't do screenings, or if they do a premiere, not the cast, the
The
crew,
crew. Yeah.
it could be a little hurtful, and they should think about that. If you can't, I mean, and we're not saying that you got to give us open bar, but even a little screening while we're, like, at lunch or something, to so that people could see the fruits of their labor, it's necessary.
I agree.
I don't
I
think,
agree.
they do a premiere and it's like they pick and choose who they get invited, and then who gets invited, and then it's kind of diminishing to your work. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, I just gave them a whole 6 months of my life busting my butt, and all I want to do is see it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
And it's
that's
not,
it.
and that's not any shade to anybody that's invited to the screening because, of course, you need the press there, you need the media there to help make it as big as what it can be. But it wouldn't hurt to have something for
Incorporate
all
that
the
in your
people.
budget. They got it.
Exactly.
Incorporate that
Hey,
into the
after
budget.
COVID, we know y'all budgets is
Yeah.
all this. We don't have enough money. Y'all
Incorporate that into
y'all
your
got enough
budget.
money.
Like, there's something you guys can figure that out. We don't need. I mean, I need Dom, but you don't have to serve Dom to everybody else. I mean, we don't need an open bar. We just
No.
want to see the finished works. Be able to see ourselves come out dressed up, showered, clean.
Yep.
You
Yep. See
know,
people in the daylight without a
Yeah,
mask on at that
maybe
point
with
to
their
be
wife
like,
or husband or their
yeah.
significant other, so that we get to see the human side of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
important. So I'm just saying. I mean, so it's what you're doing to move forward as I grow, and when I do my show, and it's something that I'm going to make sure that I incorporate into my
Yeah.
into anything that I do. But production, they should take that and take heed to what we're saying, and really put that in the budget. You can definitely invite another 100 people to the premiere who help to give you what you have to show.
I agree.
You know.
I'll take it even one step further. And sometimes I also don't appreciate that we'll work on something. Not only are we not invited to the screening or the premiere, but then we also have to pay to go see it. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like I just gave you 3 months or 6 months or a year to help put this together, like you couldn't give me a ticket.
And yes, we get paid, but we do not get paid our worth. Okay, we give our time,
That's a
sweat, and
fact.
tears. We sacrifice, and it's not to say that they have to give us anything,
Not at all.
but at the end of the day, it's a nice appreciate. It's like a thank you card.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's definitely like a thank you
Agree.
card.
So that's what I wanted to do with our cast and crew. I was like, look, before anybody else really sees this, I want y'all to see it first because I
Mhm.
know what that moment is like. I know that y'all want to be there to take the pictures, see everything, but also see and hear, well, see the film and then hear me out for what my process, what the rollout is going to be, so that you can also plan accordingly for everything that you
Mhm.
want to do and so on. So yeah.
Okay, so what's your rollout? So you it's done.
Oh boy,
It's done.
it is done. It is
Okay,
done.
have you finished all of your post production?
Yes. The only thing that we do have to add are captions to the
Mhm.
film, but outside of that, everything with the film is done. 15 minutes, 48 seconds as of right now.
Mhm.
Um, I am tinkering with doing like a director's cut or a longer version because we shot so much that I'm like, why not?
Mhm.
We also put together a almost 30-minute documentary of what day one, day two, and day three was
Ooh,
about as well. That was
I
also
love those.
important
I
for me.
love the behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's
Love.
truly special. And growing up, I loved when I would go and watch movies. Like Ocean's 11 is one of my favorite movies.
Mhm.
And being able to go back and watch what the BTS of that was like and what
What's
the days on
BTS?
set
Because
were
remember,
like,
we know, but a lot of people don't
what
know
the
what.
behind the scenes are like. So
Mhm.
you have like either some members of the cast or the director or the writer, and in some cases the crew sit there and talk about what it was like to put some
Yeah,
things
their
together.
experience. We have fun. Like
We
we
do.
have a lot of fun, but we do go through hard times. Like
Hmm.
it's a process. I mean, we had a good time on Harlem.
We had a
We had
great
a
time.
great
We
time
had a
on
great time.
Harlem. Shout out
That
to
was.
Megan and
Hmm.
Shaniqua and
Hmm.
Grace
Hmm.
and Tyler and
Tyler. Yeah.
you know what? I get
Shout out to Tracy as well. Most definitely shout out to Tracy.
Ty because Ty her name was Ty on the show,
Hmm.
but I cannot remember her real name. Jerry.
Jerry. Yeah.
Jerry, because you know you start calling everybody
By the character
their
name
character
and
name,
yeah,
so that's why I'm like
yeah.
Ty. But then there's Tyler
Hmm.
Lepley, but to Jerry Johnson,
Yeah.
it was such an amazing cast. And Jasmine Guy, this is the season that I was on because all the other seasons they started really pulling out all the black
They
magic.
did.
You
They
know,
did.
and yeah, Tracy, she wrote that.
Tracy was also just I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
she
no,
was
no.
just
Listen,
super
we
cool and so down to earth, and especially for me at that point in time with this being like my first time truly
hold on, wait.
seeing
Let's
everything.
just say who Tracy is.
Tracy Oliver, she
Mhm.
was the showrunner creator of the show Harlem. She also wrote the movie Girls Trip, as
Mhm.
a lot of people know, and her and Issa Rae back in the day were in school together
Mhm.
and were putting together Misadventures of a Black Girl, of an Awkward Black Girl.
Mhm.
So to see her go from there to now doing this and to be there and truly take it all in, and I was like, yo, like her story and what she wrote is really helping all these people to like move through life like this. It just took my breath away
Yeah.
at that point in time to really be there and live in that and stand in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's dope. That's dope. So your rollout.
Yes. So as of right now, we are submitting to film festivals,
Mhm.
getting a lot of submissions and just trying to target where we believe our audience would be and which ones are also realistic
Mhm.
for us to be able to go to. I had a number of producers on the project with me, so being able to, if I can't go, hopefully one of them will be able to go. Somebody at some point in time will be able to go to the festivals to represent us
Mhm.
on behalf. But we're gonna do that. We have so many, I'm gonna say BTS behind the scenes photos
Mhm.
that we haven't released yet enough that I could probably post every day until this time next year
Mhm.
with like photos and videos that we have, and that was important to me also because you don't know a lot of the work, or at least the average layperson doesn't know the amount of work that goes into
Yeah.
putting together a show, and that's why the documentary was so important. That's why I wanted to take all these photos so that I can highlight other people and everybody else to say, hey, your job is just as important as mine. Like, yeah, I did write it, I did produce it, I did do all this stuff. But if I don't have you here to help put it together, it's not going to work. And I want to make sure that people can be able to utilize that however they want, whether that's just taking the credit for what they did, or if it's, hey, you haven't first AD'd on a job before, you haven't produced on a job before, you haven't camera opt on a job before. Let this be your training ground Give me all you got, so that way when we do go on and do well and win awards or whatever the case may be, you'll be able to use that as a stepping stone for whatever it is that you want to do next. So I'm gonna plan a screening for family and friends to be able to come to, so that way everybody can see it as well. And I'm also hoping to partner with reaching out and having some minimal conversation right now with a couple of hair care brands to see how we can best manage a partnership to be able to release
I
it.
mean, you got a Harry's commercial right now.
Listen,
You got a Harry's
Harry's
commercial
come on.
out right now.
Let's figure it out. It's
Yeah,
right
come
there
on.
for you. It's right there for you. Literally
And
gifted on your lap.
it only makes sense. Hello, I've already worked for you. This is what it is.
I say that.
Hello, Harry's.
Like, let's do it.
All right, we're gonna add them.
So
Every chance we
Harry's,
get Harry.
Bevel, Gillette, like it's the story makes so much sense for what so many people go through. As I was doing the stats, I came across one that even took me by surprise, that 80 million people deal with balding in some way, shape, or form around the world.
And that's men and women.
That's men and women combined. So to be able to say that my film correlates to something that 80 million people go through on some level is insane.
Yep.
So
listen,
it
so there you
only
go. You
makes
already
sense for
got
that.
80 million views. Let's put that out there.
There we go.
All right,
I would
because
love that.
everyone who's going through it now is going to be able to relate and be like, "Oh my God, thank you you for saying something." Because it even made me a little more conscious of, like, when my comments, or like, when you saying something to someone, it just makes me think twice about, they may not be there yet.
You're right.
They may not be there
You
for the
kind of
jokes
got to
yet.
judge and be like,
Yeah.
okay, are they comfortable living in it just yet? Or are they still like,
Or if you got
like
your
that?
hat on and it's 80 degrees, to shut up.
Yeah.
We already know. Just be quiet. You don't gotta ask.
Like it's okay.
Let him deal with his thing. He's hot.
Right.
Okay, he's already got to be hot. So why we already know we already know. Just leave him alone, or leave her alone, or whoever the case may be. So that's dope, though. I'm so proud of you. I'm definitely so proud of you, because I've seen the growth, I've seen the accomplishments, and it inspires me, because whenever I get discouraged, like, oh my God, this is not gonna work, I'm like, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. You just gotta let it work. You gotta let it work out. And when things don't work out, it's because something else is supposed to work for you. So
there you go.
I'm like, okay, problems, let's go.
Yeah.
Bring them on, because I know once I get through this, I'm gonna learn something that's gonna help me with something else down the line, or put me in a position with someone else. Because for me, I met so many great people just in my time. I'm approaching 10 years of being in film and television, which is like, damn, it went by so fast. But I've collected so many great people. Like, I've met so many dope people, so many great people. People who have helped me. I mean, a lot of the people that I've collected helped me with this. A lot of them have been my, guests and just advocates, and just telling me, like, I'm glad that you're doing this, or that, I see your podcast. Like, those little gems, they push you. So I'm very, it makes me very proud to see that you are pursuing your dreams, because dreams do come true.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
You got to just put a little work in it.
That's all. Just a little bit of elbow grease. Like I try to remind myself all the time, I'm living in one of the things that I prayed for. Way back when I was in college, had Times Square as my screensaver, being like, one day I'm gonna live there. One day I'm gonna figure it out. And now I'm almost a decade
Prayer
in
is key.
to living
I
here.
mean, I pray for my friends, and I get to see the prayers that I prayed for my friends come to be. So I know that if I'm praying for my friends and it's happening, I know what I pray for myself is definitely going to happen.
Of course.
All in due time. So thank
you,
you, Melvin. I'm so appreciative. So make sure you're gonna give your Instagrams.
Okay.
We'll have all the links. He sent me every link to everything, so we'll have all the. No, listen, I want and I'm gonna put every link. That's why I ask people. I'm like, send me all the links you want me to put, because people click, and it's important. But we are gonna add the Netflix one for Manifest, so that we could get people to go watch that, so that we could get this spinoff, because I think you deserve that.
Thank you.
And hopefully I can wardrobe supervise that if I'm not, off somewhere doing my talk show, because one of the two. Either way, either way it'll work out. Or you may not even have time to do Manifest, because you might be taking Baldy to wherever it's about to go. Either way, you're about to go real far. So I'm glad I was able to get Melvin Taylor here now, before he becomes this big heartthrob, and then I have to hit the assistant to the assistant to the assistant to get him.
You know who to hit to get me.
Listen, I sure do.
You know who to hit.
Hey, Alyssa. I could not shout out my girl Alyssa.
Of course, of course.
And we'll just keep that between us.
There we go.
But either way, I'm very, very, very thankful that you are giving me your time. Um, and I'll make sure that all the links are. So give everyone your Instagram and let the world know where they can find Baldy.
You got it. Melvin Taylor the second, Melvin Taylor II is all of my social media. For the film, you can go to baldythefilm.com. It'll take you to everything right there. Or on Instagram, you can look up Baldy Film, and it'll take you to it too. As we continue to submit and become accepted into festivals, we'll update everybody from there. We got a bunch of like pictures and videos that are going to be dropping. I can't wait for everybody to see the behind the scenes documentary so that you can learn about all the people that helped to make this project and that truly came together in that point in time to put it together, and that gave me their time to be able to really help see my dream through and to get some more practice, because it was like, all right, strike's over. We need to get some practice going back into it. But Baldy Film, Baldy the Film on social media, and State Taylor Productions as well. That's my film company, and we got more stuff coming. The next film is already written, so
I knew
just
that
ready
was
to
gonna
roll
be.
into all of it. So yeah.
Do you have any links for donations, or like how can people, if they want to send you money? Because I mean, these film festivals you submit, but you have to fly there, and there's still lots of funds that come into things that we don't think about. But do you have any? And if you don't, I think you should make one so that people. I mean, $5, 10. I give my Starbucks money away all the time because I be spending $8 on coffee.
Hey, it'll happen so quick
$8.
too that you won't even. You'll be like, "Yo, where did I spend all this?"
$100
Yep.
in like 3-4 days on Starbucks. So what I've been doing is like I'm taking my Starbucks, I make my own coffee at home. I
There
donate
you go.
like that little $100 that you may not think is a lot. $100, it's still a contribution. So my thing is like, I hope you are, if you don't, and if you aren't, you should, so that everyone that follows me could. I mean, who if you got $5 from everyone, and I don't have a lot of followers, but $5 is more than.
Yo, listen,
Listen,
it's a lot.
yeah,
It's a lot.
I got about 800 followers now. Like
There we
I'm.
go.
Listen,
Hey,
I was hyped when
come
I
on,
got
800.
100. When I got to 100,
Oh, I know that feeling.
I was like, people are listening to me.
When I hit
People are watching my
100 on
podcast.
YouTube, hell, when I hit 10 on YouTube, I was like, 10 people.
Listen,
Whoa,
you be excited.
y'all love me that much?
At
That's
every
crazy.
like people don't understand. Every little email I get of a comment on YouTube that someone watched,
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh,
They'll like
watch.
put the
And it's not
time
someone that I
code in there
know.
too, right? And be like, oh, at this point in time, you said this,
Ooh, I
and I
love
think,
those
and I was
people.
like,
I love those
I
people.
appreciate you. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
yes. So I'm so grateful. Like, so my 800 followers, if you got 500 of those to give you $5, that's a little bit more than what you go. And I'm a big advocate for donating because I know how important it is and how expensive it could be. Because listen, Christmas is canceled this year.
Man, you are not lying.
Christmas
at all.
is canceled. And I mean, I'm sorry, everybody, because I love to give lavish, beautiful gifts, but I can't. This is my lavish, beautiful gift to the world, and I have to kind of do this.
And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That is.
I got y'all, and it's really more so to my nephews. I got y'all.
Yeah,
I got you.
She got you. She got you
I
covered.
got you.
Don't worry about
I
it.
got
She got you covered.
Yeah.
But if you do want to donate, you can go to my Instagram, and in the link in my bio, it'll take you to either our Venmo page or to State Taylor Productions. You can click contribute on there, and that'll also take you to the Venmo page so that you can help us out as we go through this film festival circuit.
We'll have that link there.
Yeah.
We will have that link there. We definitely will have that link there. So click like and subscribe. Go check out Melvin's page and click like and subscribe over there too. Get on that Netflix link so that we could push that. The Manifest one that'll be in there. Check out everything that he has going on, and hopefully we'll see you on the big screen soon. I'm hoping for Baldy or whatever it is else that you're writing, because I would love for it to be one of your productions. But whatever it's gonna be, I'll be there to support. So Melvin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
And good luck on everything that's going.
Thank you for having me. Congratulations on almost a year.
Thank
Super excited
you.
for you and to see where everything goes.
Yeah. So see you at the top.
There we go.
All right, everyone. Peace. I'm Mia Quinn Maddox, and this is New and In Between. New and In Between. Check it out. YouTube. Click, like, and subscribe. Subscribe. Thanks.